Thanks to my local bike shop, we have the Trek Powerfly 5 over here on review, and I took it out for a test ride at one of my local mountain bike tracks today, and I'll share some thoughts with you. So here is the bike. It's a electric hardtail, meaning that it does not have back suspension, but it has a suspension fork. And I'll go over first of all some of the components on this bike, and then later I'll move on into how it felt riding and other small details. So the components are pretty much selected from Trek's range, which is Bontrager, and I'm not sure about the brakes. It's written Tech-Fro. I'm not sure about that brand, what brand that is. But moving on, we've got a RockShox Recon 120mm of travel suspension fork, and then that sits on a Bontrager rim. I'm not exactly sure which model that is, but you probably could check up in the specs. And yeah, then an interesting thing, it has 203mm disc brake rotors, which are quite large for this type of hardtail cross-country bike. Then we have a Bosch motor on it with 500 watt hours and delivering 250 watts of power. Moving on to the drivetrain, that's the SRAM SX. Yeah, self-explanatory. It's the lowest level of SRAM drivetrain. So yeah, just a rigid post, no dropper post, and yeah, sweet looking fat tube with an enclosed battery inside. So moving on to other details, the head tube angle, that's around 67.7 degrees. The only thing that I think I could benefit more on this bike would be to perhaps change the post to a dropper. That could enable me to have even more fun on the downhills. Another thing that I would probably change out is the tires. I think it's the standard, yeah, it's the standard XR3 tires, 29 2.3 size, and they look pretty cross-country oriented. They might be good for mellow trails, but I would exchange them for something more grippy and buff, both front and rear. Maybe could work with a Maxxis Minion DHR2 and a Maxxis Minion DHF up front. Could be a good combo. Bit thicker size, maybe 2.4, 2.5, and a 2.3 or 2.4 at the back. The motor, it displays the range, which is 0 at the moment because the battery is down. Then it has different modes, which is going from turbo, that's the fastest mode, it offers the most support, and yeah. Then we go down to mountain bike, which is a sort of smart mode. It finds how much power to deliver on different types of terrain, and it figures it out on its own. Then we have Tour, which is kind of a medium mode. It's yeah, going pretty much as it sounds for a tour. And then we have eco mode. That's when we're running out of juice and we need to get back home or get back to wherever we rode from. So moving on, how does the bike perform? How does it ride? Well, it's heaps of fun going up hills. It feels like a mini motorbike. You basically power through any uphill, and it feels like double the fun basically. If you're having a flowy trail which has ups and downs, constant ups and downs, which you have to normally pedal through and put lots of power into, well, this bike will definitely plow through them. And for me, it enabled me to take some different lines, diverse lines. From time to time I ended up going on a higher line than I would usually do because of the extra power that it delivered from the motor. I see this mountain bike as a good bike for a new rider that perhaps wants to ride a little bit more mellow trails and doesn't necessarily like the uphills. So this would be the perfect machine for a beginner that wants to experience the mountain biking world and doesn't necessarily have the fitness level of pros. battery is almost dead. It's got the last bar and showing 6 kilometers left. I'm gonna pop it into turbo mode and let's see how I can smash this uphill. This is how it rides when the battery dies. There is, I think there's eco mode, which may be helping a tiny bit, but it's almost unnoticeable. Otherwise, you have to pedal, and it's not a light bike, so that's that. It lasted me about 32 kilometers, but I have been doing a lot of uphills and quite rough and aggressive riding, so perhaps on a track with less climbing and a little bit more mellow terrain, it could last up to maybe 40 kilometers or so. I'm not sure. That would have to be tested, but overall, yeah, 32 kilometers in the bank and pedaling back to the car without the electric support.